Let's learn of a few ways we can filter layered animation in Maya. The ability to filter animation can work out to be a very nice tool because with it we can just focus on certain keys without being distracted by all of our keys piled up one on top of another. So let's go to learn how to filter animation when we're working with layers. What we first want to do is go to the Show menu, and I'll go ahead and just tear off this editor. So going back to Show, first thing, right at the top we see options to filter what gets shown in the layer pane. So if we just wanted to see all affected layers of a selected object, watch what happens when we click this. Notice we're not going to see anything because no object is selected. Now if we were to go to our control objects and let's say select the finger control or even arm control, now we get to see the layers that are essentially tied to this object that we have selected. So, and we can bring that back to default, but that can work out to be a very nice tool for, again, just focusing on certain layers. Now, directly underneath, what we have is the ability to basically set global settings for what gets shown on the timeline, the graph editor, and also the dope sheet. So if we were to set this to, let's say, selected, whatever layers are selected, notice if we were to now go to our timeline, okay, right click, move all the way down to display key ticks. It is getting cut off in the video, but you can still navigate to it. And now let's go ahead and change our option right underneath our separator that shows our animation layer filter settings. If we were to go ahead and choose that first option that is called From Layer Editor Show Options, notice now we're not going to see any keys tied to this arm control because we have the feet take selected. So if we were to select one of the foot controls, now we get to see the keys. So again, it's a great way to just filter and just focus on certain keys. Now, same thing applies to the graph editor. So I can go ahead and show you that. If we were to go to Window, Animation Editor's Graph Editor, okay, right now we see multiple layers. We see the height layer, see even the base layer, or to the base level we see our feet take. But watch what happens if we were to right click in our graph editor outliner, go down to Animation Layers Filter, and then choose from Show Options. Now all we're going to see is the feet take, okay, because of the settings that we've chosen in our Show menu. Alright, so that's how that works, and we can also see this from the dope sheet. It's going to work the same way. But we don't want to have the dope sheet fill excluded, so let's go there. And again, we see multiple layers. We can right click and we can go ahead and go back to Animation Filters. It's the same option and choose from Show Menu. Alright, so that's how that works. And if you'd like, you can bring this back to what it originally was, all affected. I'm going to close that out. Go back to the graph editor. You can go ahead and set that back if you'd like to. Okay, or whatever is going to work best for you. So that's how we can filter our keyframes. And I'll even go back to the timeline and I'll switch that back to, let's say, all affected. Also, going back to the Show menu, we can go ahead and take a look at that last option. This is to show or hide any namespaces within our layers. So you do have that option as well. Alright, with all of these things discussed, that does finish our lesson, and now we know how to filter animation when we're working with animation layers.